Hey everybody, it's Melissa and it's the end of April, meaning that I'm going to be giving you my top 5 favorite fragrances of the month, all right? And there's some newcomers here because surprisingly, there were some fragrances that got bumped that have been here for quite a long time, all right? So, as always, the discount link and the discount code for these scents in the comment section below. I'm going to pin it, and it is an affiliate link in case you guys want to support the channel. But of course, buy where you're comfortable. Starting off at number 5, we've got Pure Extreme Nectar by M. Micallef. And this scent is, for some reason, maybe I just have a thing when it comes to like orangey, citrusy fragrances, that they just drive me wild, y'all. It's just, the citruses in this type of weather, we're talking like 80-degree weather, they just hit so good. Now, Pure Extreme Nectar, in my opinion, is more of a feminine fragrance. I feel like if you want to try to pull it off as a guy, you absolutely can. But this is something that I would look at in my collection and I'm like, damn, I kind of want to smell that again. And then I'll spray it on myself and then I'll wear it and I like it, but it's still something I would much rather prefer on somebody else. Like if my girlfriend were to wear this, I would love it a lot more, but I just like the smell of it. I think it's the equivalent of, you know, your partner, like you smell their clothes after they applied their signature scent and you're like, oh my God, this smells so good, you know? And it's just like you kind of have it, or like you'll smell it and it just like kind of brings you comfort. That's how I feel with Pure Extreme Nectar. And I just have been using this fragrance more than I thought. And whenever I would go into my collection, I would open up the bottle and smell it. And I'm like, this shit is so good. You know, I'm going to be talking about more summer fragrances now that the weather is definitely heating up. And you better believe this is going to be on there because this fragrance is just so effortless. It's just so simple. And you know that I love it like that. Now, in terms of performance, this is around probably like, I would say give it a solid 5 hours. All right. Of course, if you only do a couple sprays on skin, it might not even push to that 5-hour mark. But if you're doing about like 5 sprays at a minimum, and this is saying that you're going to the beach, right? Or you're going to be outdoors for the most part, it's going to smell good. Like this gets activated when it's warmer outside. It smells better that way, in my opinion. All right. So 5th place, Pure Extreme Nectar by M. Micallef. And I do have to try the original version of this because this is a flanker apparently. In 4th place is Arrakis by Spirit of Kings. And I actually just posted a YouTube video comparing this to Afternoon Swim because so many people were asking about it. And I've just heard a lot of comments trying to, like with people comparing the two fragrances. And I will say that this is definitely more sharp. All right. Is this my favorite fragrance out of everything I have here? It's not, but it's the type of scent that I'm like, you know what? When it's really hot, all right, 80 degrees, that's not super hot, but it's like, this is, how do I say this? I kind of have to use the example that I gave in that previous video. This is a scent that in average warm weather, it's not really going to hit. If you're wearing this in Michigan or in Montana, in Germany, in places that it's not really that warm, you're probably going to think that this isn't worth it, right? You're going to smell it and the performance might not be at its best. And that's how I felt about it when I wore it on just a random like 65-degree weather day. I was like, dang, it doesn't smell as good as I thought it would. Or it wasn't really just, it didn't have that oomph to it. You know, it still had that grapefruit smell. And if you want to know the notes, grapefruit, there's woody notes and ambroxan in the scent, right? It was just kind of subpar. It smelled good, but I was like, dang, I thought that I liked this more. But then I wore it again on a hot day and I went on this walk and I was like, I smell lovely right now. It's just like the equivalent of having a tall glass of cold lemonade on a hot day, right? And this is the same example I used. If you have that same glass of lemonade on a day that's like 65 degrees, sure, it still tastes good, but it doesn't hit the same as like when you have it when it's super hot. You know what I'm saying? So Spirit of Kings Arrakis, performance here is similar to Pure Extreme Nectar. It is noticeable like within those 5 hours and it can linger, but it's not something that anybody's going to really smell that much of if you're, you know, if you only kind of did maybe 2 sprays of it. I feel like if you do more than 5, this will definitely push, but to me, the ambroxan here can get a bit heavy and sometimes the grapefruit is a bit sharp. you know, so be mindful of that if you don't like really sharp citrusy fragrances and you still want to give this a try. So yeah, in fourth place, Arrakis Spirit of Kings. I have been giving it a lot of wears this month, and it's kind of been flipping and flopping. Because if you watched my initial video of this, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. But depending on the day that I tried it, sometimes it would be good, sometimes it would be all right, you know? So that was just unfortunate. In third place is Elysium by Raja Parfums. All right, Elysium has pretty much been my number one for the past 3 months or so. And as you could see just by the usage of this bottle, I love it a lot, all right? And I can't wait to try the Elysium Pour Homme, like the Parfum version of the fragrance. I just kind of want to make some comparisons, but to me, this is perfect for the weather that I live in. So, oh my God. On me, this smells like a lemon pineapple cocktail. On the notes, I think it's actually grapefruit and juniper berry, but I personally don't pick up, like when I wear this, it doesn't smell like grapefruit. It smells exactly how I said with that cocktail vibe, right? It's just an easy wear, and it's something that everybody loves. Okay, I wear this fragrance because it's just super refreshing. When I have it on, it just boosts my mood. But whenever I wear this and I'm around other people, they go nuts over it. I'm talking women, I'm talking men. Everybody just loves this scent when I give them a hug. They're like, oh, you smell so good. What is that? This always receives compliments. I guarantee you, like for me, right? I'm not going to guarantee you because everyone has a different situation, but every single time I wear this and I'm around people, it always gets a compliment. It's just an immediate compliment factor sort of fragrance. If that is something you're interested in, then this scent will totally do that for you. But even if you're just like me, looking for an easygoing, fresh and clean fragrance, this is great. Now, performance is so-so. There's people that comment on my videos saying that they only get about 2 to 3 hours with Elysium. And hey, some people get that sort of performance. For myself, I still get compliments on this past that 6-hour mark, even though sometimes for me, I don't even pick up on the fragrance. To me, sometimes I think that it goes away after 4 hours, but apparently it still lingers. And I also spray this on clothes as well. So I do skin and clothes, and I always do more sprays when it comes to Elysium because I know that if I only do 2, I'm gonna go nose blind fairly quickly, and it might, I myself want to be able to enjoy smelling this fragrance, so I'll always do more, and I'll spray more of it on clothes because I want it to linger. But if we want to have that safe bet, then, you know, we could say just to have a conservative number, I'll just say 4 hours, but on me, it definitely performs longer than that. All right, Elysium Raja Parfums. In second place is Light Blue Intense by Dolce & Gabbana. I'm not sure if y'all, this is the women's version, by the way, but I'm not sure if y'all saw the video that I did where I talked about fragrances that I probably wouldn't get second bottles of. And Light Blue Intense, I think, was on that list, right? And this is the interesting thing about fragrances, is that you have a time with them where you can really love them, right? And then there's going to be that dry spell period where it's like, okay, you know what, there's other things, and it just isn't in your rotation anymore, and you don't really reach for it. And if you do smell it, it just kind of gives you nostalgia, right? But it's not something you kind of want to rewear. With this scent, I definitely had that dry spell moment. But again, every single summer that it's been since I've had this fragrance, it's just as if whenever I open up my collection, this fragrance just like stares at me. And it's like, you know, you want to use me. And I'm like, you know, I do. I really, really do. And I have been using Light Blue Intense. And I actually sprayed it on my sheets recently. I had like opened up my windows and I sprayed this and I was like, this smells so good. I love this fragrance. This is probably one of my favorite, you know what, not even one of my favorite. This is probably a top 3 designer fragrance for me. Standard designer fragrance, mind you. All right, I'm not talking private blends, like, because every time I say designer, everyone's like, well, what about Oud Wood? I'm like, I'm talking standard, all right? Standard designer, okay. But Light Blue Intense is just a lemon apple musk fragrance that does the job. And on top of that, I get great performance with this. I get 7 hours with this. And what's interesting is whenever I talk about this fragrance, I feel like people don't hear the intense part. They just see, they only hear light blue. Therefore, they think of the original Light Blue. And they're like, performance is dog shit. It's only 15 minutes. And I'm like, the intense version or the original? They're like, there's an intense? I'm like, yes, that's why I said intense, and that's why my bottle looks different than the one in your collection, you know? So I always find that interesting. I get a similar type of reaction when I talk about Baccarat Rouge Extrait de Parfum. Everyone just hears Baccarat Rouge, and they're like, oh, they go off about it, and you're like, oh, so you don't like the Extrait? They're like, what do you mean Extrait? It's like, did you hear anything I said? Did you hear what I said? You know, so that is just always the misunderstanding with Light Blue Intense. Whenever people hear it and see it, is they hear 2 words, not 3. But Light Blue Intense, I get over 7 hours with this fragrance, like I said. And this is just something that, yes, it's nostalgic to me, but now it's a dumb reach. It truly is, you know, and I highly recommend this fragrance, especially to people just starting out in their collection. If you already have an established collection, then just skip over this. You probably don't want it, you don't care about it. You're looking for more unique things. But for me, I feel like having those staples in your collection, having that minimalistic sort of rotation just filled with straight bangers, right? That's what you want. I think Light Blue Intense is the perfect summer fragrance to throw on. I have not seen complaints with this fragrance as much. I know people find it polarizing online in the internet, right? Of course, everyone on the internet will have issues with anything if you just bring up a topic. But in person, people have loved this on me, all right? I think the only people that I've seen give hate to the scent have been online, and it's only been like middle-aged men. Maybe only 2 of them. So if that's the demographic you're trying to impress, then maybe, you know, listen to the 2 cents of those gentlemen, and everyone's opinion is totally valid. But I will tell you right now, with the experience I've had with this, and also when I've applied this on other people, because when they applied it on themselves, because they'll just take it from my collection and wear it, it's all been positive reactions from women, from men, and like I've said so many times, this is a unisex fragrance, all right? Even the women's version, I still recommend men to get it just because it has the sex appeal that the men lacks, in my opinion, all right? But really good scent. If you want the masculine one, you can as well. Light Blue Intense in general is just an amazing fragrance, both the masculine and feminine, but this one right here to me is the sleeper, and it's just an absolute winner. And I want to try Light Blue forever again because everyone always asks me about it. And I think I've tried it once, but I can't remember it, which means that, you know, it didn't really hit for me, you know? And in first place is Salt and Pepper by Precious Liquid. I've been trying really hard to keep like more quiet about this fragrance. The only time I talk about it now is in these particular videos, because before I would, you know, make videos on like, these are the fragrances I got complimented at the grocery store with, right? But the thing is, this fragrance, it's been happening a lot with it. But I would think to myself, I'm like, yes, I know people want updates on this, but I think people are gonna get the wrong idea if I constantly talk about the compliments I receive from this at the grocery store, at the club, because they'll be like, oh, you're trying too hard to push it. And it's like, no, that's actually what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take my foot off the gas when it comes to this. I'll only talk about it in this video if, you know, if it actually is something that I'm constantly using. But I'm telling you right now, if y'all actually wanted the for real update videos on the fragrances that, okay, I wore this scent at the grocery store and this girl asked me for the name of it and how to spell it and stuff like that, or I was literally at the park and I got a compliment on this fragrance today. If you guys like those videos, I guess I can, but I'm telling you, like, you're gonna get annoyed because it's seriously just gonna be Salt and Pepper and probably Elysium. Elysium is up there too, but this has been getting so much love. It's crazy. It smells really good in the summertime. And there were actually 3 people this month that I can think of that when I wore this, I received compliments from them. They're like, whoa, that smells good, you know? So Salt and Pepper is something y'all have heard me talk about over and over and over again, but honestly for all the right reasons. It's a peppery fragrance. It's a more masculine sort of scent. It's perfect for the summertime that we're approaching, perfect for the springtime, and it's a high quality niche fragrance. So when you wear it, I know that if you've tried a lot of the designer fragrances at the mall, they have almost sometimes a syntheticness to them, and having a synthetic smell isn't bad. There's a lot of synthetics in fragrance, right? But sometimes it can become very off-putting to people the more that it develops, right? But with this scent, from start to finish, it's great. I will say the weak point of this fragrance to me is the opening of it. I think that the opening is just kind of, yeah, okay, it's peppery, typical masculine fragrance, right? And then you just kind of, you forget about it. But then as this starts to dry down, it just comes back and you're like, oh shit, it's good. It's like Rocky, right? Like it stays in the ring, and even though you're like counting it out, and it just stays, and you're like, oh my God. And it gets better and better. All right, so I know I sound congested. I'm still getting over my sickness, y'all, but Salt and Pepper by Precious Liquid, this is my shit. And I'm honestly now, I'm starting to like, I'm trying, because of how much of a dent there is in this bottle. Before, I would just like spray a lot of it because I wanted to smell it, right? And it would stay on me. But now I'm like, damn, I'm coming like literally more than halfway down. So I'm like, should I be more conservative with my sprays? I know that this is going to be a lifetime fragrance for me that I'll always have in my collection, but now I'm just being more cautious that I'm like, okay, you've already used more than half of this fragrance. Maybe you should slow it down a little bit. But screw that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wear as much as I like to, but this right here, so good. I really feel like this is that type of fragrance, and I say this all the time, right? That in terms of niche scents, it's going to be looked over because it doesn't have anything bold, unique. What I've noticed in the fragrance community is that a lot of these really unique fragrances are praised, right? Yes, they're artistic, yes, they're high quality, but a lot of the times they're not scents that I would wear. They're the type of fragrances that would collect dust, but it's there. But hey guys, if you come into my house, in my room, check out this fragrance that's super unique and artistic, and people would smell it and be like, oh yeah, that's different. But would they wear it? Not really. Would they want to wear it, smell it on somebody? Not really, right? So to me, this is kind of the fragrance for like that everyday person that, again, is looking for that minimalistic collection filled with bangers. You just want things that are going to hit. You know that you're going to smell good. You're going to feel confident wearing it. And on top of that, people around you are going to go nuts over your scent. And nobody else that you know is going to be having this fragrance because they're going to be having scents probably more like this, like La Nuit de l'Homme, like Dior Sauvage, right? No hate to those fragrances. They're great as well. But I'm telling you, a lot of people, whether they admit it or not, they want to stand out and they want to have the scent that everybody loves, but nobody else is wearing. Everybody has that sort of feel. You know what I mean? For the most part, even though they don't say it out loud, they want to be the one to stand out and have everybody go nuts over their scent. And Salt and Pepper has been literally my go-to this month, and I'm going to keep using it, especially for this summertime, because this thing is getting better and better the more that it's sitting on my shelf. But anyways, there it is, my top 5 favorite fragrances for the month of April. I love the heat that we're finally getting. Again, discount code and discount link for these fragrances in the comments section below. Let me know what your top 5 fragrances are, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.